Would you send your adventurers out on this quest?
Sure, I've sent my adventurers onto worse quests.
That's true.
I've sent them to islands that exist outside of time.
Perfect. I mean, this kind of could exist outside of time if you wanted it to frame that way, so... I got an adventure, a seed for you that I want to throw by you. An adventure hook.
Throw the seeds right in the air.
Yes, exactly. And there's actually a reason why I say seed, because this is actually based on my time playing a game called Starfield. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's a space game. And I have finally learned how to add parts to ships, so that's fun. And at any rate...
Good job. 40 hours later.
40 hours later. Well, I'm much further in now. And there was a side mission that I started that I thought was really, really interesting. It's one of the most interesting side missions that I had. And I inspired this particular adventure hook that I wanted to explore with you today. And if for anyone who is listening who knows what I'm talking about, I would be referring to Operation Starseed. In that vein, I have come up with what I am calling the Island of Legends. So...
Nothing similar to name, it's fine.
Nothing at all. No.
No.
Isle of Legend, or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, okay, so here's how this mission basically works. Your heroes are told by a distress call that there are people that are stranded on a desert island. And you must go to find them. Yes.
Is it a desert island or a deserted island, or is it just an island and they assume it's a desert?
Let's just say it's an island people have not heard of before.
Okay, so it is an unknown island. I don't know why we call them desert islands if they're not deserts.
Or deserted islands, because we assume that no one's living on them, I guess.
Yeah, well, deserted means that there was people living there before that left.
Oh, well, prime real estate then.
Oh, you know, exactly. Anyway. Comes with a town already pre-made.
Yeah, exactly. At any rate, let's just say it's an island, but it's not an island that's been charted at all. We've never seen it. An uncharted island. There we go. Okay, good clarification. So, your heroes have been told about an uncharted island that doesn't appear on any maps. Once going there to respond to a distress signal, you find the island is indeed inhabited. But intriguingly enough, this island is not just inhabited by anyone. It's inhabited by heroes and villains, legends of the world that you're in. Famous characters you've read about in books. That
like ancient legends?
Yeah. That you thought were long dead. Historical characters, kings, queens, knights, the whole deal.
Important people to history.
Important people
or
to
mythology.
History. History. Specifically history. Okay. Not as much mythology, but definitely from history. Okay.
Okay.
They explain to you that they are stranded on this island. They can't leave the confines of it. The system, whether you want it to be, scientific or magical in nature, depending on your setting, will not let them leave this island. And they want you to figure out how to disable it so that they can get off of the island.
So I'm already getting vibes of Futurama from that one with the sentient cloud that really loved Star Trek.
Oh, yeah.
If you've seen that one.
Yes.
So it's like, I got the crew of the original crew of Star Trek. I gave them their bodies back, but I'm forcing them to reenact episodes of the show for all eternity. And now they just want to leave.
Right. right. A little bit like that.
Okay.
A little bit like that, but I think the impetus of why they're not able to leave is much different.
Okay.
So, with the Sentient Cloud, it was because the Sentient Cloud's a big fan of Star Trek and wants to
He's a big super nerd.
Yeah, exactly. Just kept them all there and was a super nerd. In this particular case, the island is keeping them there more or less because they're there for almost historical record, like the greatest figureheads to keep them there, but not interested in having them interact or go out in the world itself. having been long past their time.
Yeah, so they've done the thing they were known for.
Right.
And this is like just record keeping. Ah, yes, but it keeps them alive?
It keeps them alive. It keeps them alive.
It just doesn't. So, like, what's it like on the island? Like a village, a town, a city?
I would say it's more of a colony.
Can they procreate?
Can they procreate? Ooh,
that's a question I have because historical figures are still. In this case, we're gonna say they're all human. Maybe there's babies of historical figures from different ages going on. In this case, I would say it probably does something that doesn't let them, puts them in like biostasis. Essentially, you're alive, but your body doesn't age and your functions don't work quite as well.
Well, I'll tell you, just to kind of give you a little bit of the story from Operation Starseed, is it's basically that the genetic records are kept so that they can essentially clone figures from the past that they have as historical record. And that if you were to die, if they were to die at some point, they could be remade by the system continuously. But there is, of course, one big problem that you're having now, and that is, do you actually want them to go out into the world? Because you might have some of the best thinkers and best leaders that you've ever had, but this also includes some of the most vicious warlords, and in some cases, possibly people that were famous for mass murders. And so you might not want them out there. You might want to avoid having them go out and about amongst the rest of your world. So
my question is, if after centuries of being on this island, if those villains haven't chilled the fuck out?
That's a good question.
Every time Genghis Khan kills George Washington, he just gets respawned. Isn't he bored of it?
You know what's really funny? One of the characters in Operation Starseed is Genghis Khan.
That's hilarious. Great job, me.
Yeah, good job thinking about that. However, I don't know if George Washington is part of the thing, but FDR is. So.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, who knows? Maybe Genghis Khan and FDR get into fights.
It's like Hitler. You really chilled out over the last 400 years.
Still not letting him go. Still not letting him go. I don't care. Yeah. Not happening. Happening. I don't care if he finally got recognized for his art. Not happening, dude.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this person's a really good painter. Who is it? Oh, that's Hitler.
Oh, what? No. Sorry.
Yeah, he got over the whole, World War II thing. Yeah. 300 years ago. Okay. He's chilled out.
Yeah.
He's just an old man that paints now.
Oh, great. Yeah. No.
Can we don't kill him? No, don't kill him. Every time we kill him, he just starts out angry again.
Okay, but he can't leave. He has to stay here. But
good thing we're not monsters.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I'm sorry. Hot take. Hitler was bad. Anyway, hot take these days. Anyway, so thought process, though, is that there are still some really great thought leaders and philosophers on this island, and maybe they would have a lot to share with modern culture. Maybe they would have a lot of insight to give, but they can't do it from this island. You'd have to let everybody go, or you would have to make sure everybody stayed. So
everyone stays. Perfect.
Your mind is already made up. Yeah, yep. Exactly. Better that we not know than risk it.
Yep.
Perfect.
It's like, you guys were great in your time, but now it's our time, and we don't know how you're going to interact with our world now.
Right. I also do think that there is one little hitch in this whole process, which is that you, the party, are free to leave and come and go as you see fit. So if you're able to come and go as you see fit, you could theoretically take writings or literature or records from those folks and bring them to the archives, bring them to historians so that they could reference that. Or if we now know where you are, historians and record keepers could come to you. It would be like a Star Tours, but in the modern Yeah, exactly. It's a living museum. You know what it ends up being? Remember in Assassin's Creed, the more modern ones, they would do the version that was Discovery Tour mode? And you could just go around the landscape in ancient Egypt or Greece or whatever, and you get to, like, look around, and they talk about, like, the historical records and the documentation that they did and how they recreated.
Yeah, I didn't play that mode.
You didn't play that mode?
I went, what is this? And then I went, oh, this is... Ugh.
It's learning. It's too much like learning. I liked it, though. I thought it was... Personally, I thought, like, man, this is actually kind of useful for schools. This would actually be a useful thing for schools. Sure.
Not the topics I care about, however.
Right, I understand. You don't care how the ancient Egyptians made pottery? And dyes?
I assume the same way we make up pottery and dyes, just less industrialized.
Well, okay, you took the magic out of it for me, but okay, yeah, thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Anyway, so how do you, does your party just go in with the mindset that they're just going to, take the records down and transfer them out? But, I'm realizing there's a problem here. If everybody knows now where the island is, couldn't somebody else come now and deactivate the system? Because everybody else knows. So you'd have to keep it quiet. Otherwise, somebody else comes, and you'd have to delete all record of having the... No,
the party becomes enterprising, builds a port.
Oh.
Puts chain link fence up around the island. Charges admittance.
Yeah.
It's now a living museum. You are not allowed to take anything from the island. You are searched on your way out.
Oh, fun. Ooh.
There you go.
You have
profit.
You have a portal that takes you from one end to another. So no one knows how to get there otherwise. So it's the modern day thing of we're going to blindfold you, we're not telling you where you're There's a secret location. It's that.
Yep.
It's that. Okay.
Anyways,
that's a good resolution. I am kind of curious, though, that in, your preferred setting, what kind of characters would you want to see there? If you want to do something that's like a medieval setting, like if we were doing
probably fantasy.
Fantasy?
Like a D&D setting, yeah.
Yeah, so if we were doing D&D, I guess you'd have, Dresd on there, and maybe Minsk, or...
No, that's specifically to Forgotten Realms D&D.
That's specifically to Forgotten Realms. Oh, no. Ooh!
I wouldn't...
That does make me think, though, it would be fun, if you were doing it in a D&D, if you're playing in Forgotten Realms, that you have characters that are not specifically from Forgotten Realms, that are the characters that are in that.
Yeah, see, because if you did just specific characters in the Forgotten Realms, for instance, and they were just important big characters, it would just be anyone that's had a book written about them.
Perfect.
And it's oh, okay, but now everyone's... whose perspective is this from for the importance of the character? What if there's an important goblin chief to the goblins?
Right.
They might not be important to the elves, but they're important to the goblins, so would they be on the island?
Right, well, it would have to deal with the people that made the island, right? The people that created the machines that keep them there, that put them there, would be the ones that determine how important the characters are.
Sentient Cloud made them.
The Sentient Cloud, yeah, the Sentient Cloud. Yeah. Perfect. And he's just a big nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he kept everybody there.
He just makes everyone play D&D on the island. Meta.
Oh my god.
We're wrapping it back around to the metaverse experience.
Perfect. I think that is a question, though, that your party might want to ask is well, who made this and why did they prioritize these characters to be on the island in the first place?
Why is it only humans on the island? Oh, because humans only live 40 years in this setting? Oh, that makes sense, actually.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, and back to your question, yes, can they procreate? Also, can they die? Can they die? Can they get reincarnated? These are all important questions to understand before you can make a determination on what your characters are going to do. So
burn down the island.
Burn it down.
And then the system reboots it. It's now Earth 2.0.
And then they create everybody over again.
Yeah.
And yeah, perfect, terrific. That can't go wrong at all.
It's the Hitchhiker's Guide thing, where they build Earth 2.
Yep.
And the other Hitchhiker's Guide thing, where you meet the man who runs the universe.
Wasn't it kind of man behind the curtain sort of deal?
Kind of. Yeah, he didn't know he was making decisions.
Oh, right.
He was just kind of aimless and kind of aloof. His cat was great because his cat was named the Lord.
Oh.
And I've since said if I get a cat that I get to name, it's going to be named the Lord. Because the interaction went about like this. The person was like, yeah, sometimes the Lord gets hungry, and they're like, the Lord? Yeah. And it's like, so you do believe in something? No. It's, yeah, of course. It's my cat.
Yeah.
It's like making it out to be like, oh, you believe in a higher power? It's like, no, sometimes the Lord just gets hungry, so I give him little bits of food, and he purrs. What?
Perfect. Ooh.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if the man who runs the universe actually made this island, and it was just an island of cats?
Perfect.
That would be great. That would be...
can...
We just created a video game that will sell 1 billion copies. An island of cats. Perfect.
I feel like that exists, but that's fine.
Well, it's gonna exist again. Would you send your adventurers out on this quest?
Sure. I've sent my adventurers onto worse quests.
That's true.
I've sent them to islands that exist outside of time.
Perfect. I mean, this kind of could exist outside of time if you wanted it to frame that way, so...
Sure, it's a little different than the one I have, but that's besides the point.
Sure. Okay. Well, then that's good. I guess I'm a little curious as to if anyone out there would want to try and use something like this, or if you have any modifications you'd like to use for the Island of Legends, which we have now determined is not a deserted island, but is an uncharted island. Very big distinction.
I've got an even better idea. It's not an island of legends, it's an island of ancestors.
Oh.
And whoever visits, they just see their lineage on the island at that point in time.
Oh. It generates your ancestors as you enter?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so the trick here is that
sucks.
You can't kill anyone.
Oh.
Because you kill one of them
and then you
kills
die.
the rest of your line. Yep, everybody down the line just fucking dies.
Oh. This is gonna be trickier than I thought.
It's like you're actually an asshole, great grandma.
Yeah. Well, that serves to reason. I don't want to interact with my family anyway, but this sounds like a terrible idea. The whole family tree in one convenient place.
It's like, ooh, which one of you was first? Me.
You can't get me now. Anyway.
You can't be mad at me because you don't exist.
What happens when I leave the island? You all cease to be. You all disappear. I get the last laugh. Anyway.
And then suddenly you're just someone that exists and has no family record anymore.
We bootstrapped ourselves out of existence.
Yep. Perfect.
Nice. Alright, well, let us know if you think that's a good idea. Anyway.